know how tough it is to be a woman. The rampant sexism, the uncalled for catcalls, and the lining of your uterus falling out of you on a monthly basis. Not to mention the pressure feminism puts on you to become a CEO or politician, so you can bleed all over that too, instead of settling down, squeezing out some tiny humans, and ultimately destroying your cooch. So when a whingy feminist does actually make it into a STEM field, that should be the end of that, right? Fucking wrong, motherfucker. As Wired are about to show us by gathering 5 engineers who are seemingly good at their jobs but still haven't come up with a method to remove the sticks from their asses.
So in terms of challenges in the tech industry, I think it's what's known as death by 1,000 paper cuts.
It's death by 1,000 cuts, a form of torture used in mid to late imperial China. I thought engineers were supposed to be smart.
There was one thing or the other, and it always ended up with people wondering why I was a woman, why I was young.
Well, because you were born with 2 X chromosomes and you are yet to be ravaged by the unrelenting forces of time. Pretty stupid fucking questions, really.
And, you know, why I was doing my own thing.
People sort of assume that I am not technical.
Oh no! Alert the UN! People assume things about other people. Never mind war, famine and pollution. No, we need to sort this shit out right now.
It can feel like you are fighting against this believability factor.
Who gives a fuck? You go to work, you get paid, and you pay for food and shelter. At no point does what other people believe affect you. And what's the fucking point of using that background if you're still gonna show us the fucking war behind it?
It hurts, and it sort of puts this doubt in your own mind saying, should I really not be here?
Well, then stop being so easily influenced and make your own fucking mind up. Plus, you're some kind of Asian. How do you not belong in engineering? Ah, it's representation. Because being good at something is worthless if you aren't lost in a sea of people who look just like you. Whatever happened to just doing your job?
If I walk into a room and I say that I'm an engineer,
I hope you at least wait for someone to ask what you do for a living first, not just open a door and be like, I'm an engineer. And I mean, you work for Twitter, so you're not exactly changing the world. You're just fucking with the algorithm so nothing positive comes up about Donald Trump.
and if I don't look the way that a person is expecting me to look.
Looking like an engineer, eh? The only example I can think of is Dilbert, and I mean, yeah, you're doing quite well on that front.
Then I kind of have to prove to them that no, I am an engineer and I know what I'm talking about.
Why do you care though? Whether they believe you or not, you're still a fucking engineer. Just move on and maybe stop talking about yourself so much.
That's just the assumption. The default is that women of color can't be technical, aren't technical, and as a result we get treated like we aren't technical.
Man, these cuts are driving me mad. I thought feminists hated being cut off. Why do they keep doing it in their videos? Anyway, you're still fighting against harmless assumptions, and for fuck's sake, you're in one of the highest paying jobs around. How are you still feeling held back by the color of your skin? Grow the fuck up.
And I begin to question myself, and I know that that is absolutely unacceptable.
Don't question yourself then. It's easy. I can't help but think you're coming across as quite needy.
And it is completely untrue.
Stop fucking questioning yourself then. I thought engineers were good at solving problems, but I was wrong. It seems you're better at complaining about them.
Being in environments where it's mostly men, where it's mostly white people.
Oh, so it's the white male's fault. Fuck knows how I didn't see that one coming. How dare they study for years to work in a field they're passionate about? Do they not know Indian women exist? Why not go work in an all-female office? Wait until your menstrual cycles synchronize and absolutely no work gets done for 5 days out of every month. Fucking herpa-derpa.
There is a psychic toll because I can't be my full self.
You shouldn't be your full self at the workplace. Imagine if I did that. The day job would be gone if I acted like myself at work. I'd be running around calling people stupid cunts and berating them for being ugly. You're supposed to act professional. You're there to work, not go on a journey of self-fucking discovery.
There's always...
What? Oh, come on!
There's always a little bit of needing to filter.
Yeah, it's that way for everyone, love. You're there because you're right for the job, not because you hold certain views. For fuck's sake, how did you even get this far? Not in your career, but in life.
There's always a little bit of a gap between, like...
Your thighs? That black woman's tits? You may have many skills, lady, but improvising is not one of them.
What I'm actually like and what I can be like.
Again, it's that way for everyone. Do you honestly think men talk the same in the office as they do when they're down the pub? Every single racist would be out of work, which means some dickhead would start making correlations between unemployment and racial animosity, and all of a sudden someone without a job is literally Hitler. Do you see what you're doing?
And it's calculus that I do every day. It's It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Oh, you poor little thing, having to think before you speak. With probably 90% of your brain being devoted to complaining and whinging, I'm not surprised you find it exhausting.
So there's no denying the fact that there is gender disparity.
Yeah, because few women choose to go into it. There's gender disparity in construction too, but I don't see anyone burning their fucking brows over that. It's only for jobs where you sit down, isn't it? I guess they have to rest their dear little legs after carrying around all that oppression.
I will try and qualify that with my own experience.
Stats. Often used to misrepresent certain things, in this case to imply women aren't allowed to become engineers as opposed to many women don't want to be engineers.
I really hate this one. When people ask me what I do.
Well, first thing I'd ask is how do you pronounce your fucking name?
Even if the implicit context is that everyone there is an engineer, they would always say, like, what do you do?
Do you think they were asking what you do specifically? I mean, it's kind of assumed you're an engineer if you're in the room, so that would be a damn stupid answer, wouldn't it? Shit, they could have just given you a drinks order. You'd be onto something then.
There's this funny thing that happens when
I've been working on a video featuring 5 women and not one of them has made me a fucking sandwich.
someone goes through that mental shift of realizing that you actually are an engineer.
Why is it no one believes you, lady? Are you a renowned liar or something? Like some guys warned everyone, don't trust a fucking word Kathleen says. Every weekend she goes on about spending time with her Swedish bodybuilder husband, but I know for a fact she lives alone with 8 cats.
And then they kind of try to make up for it. Oh, good for you. That's so great. Wow, I'm so surprised you're an engineer. Which is such a backhanded compliment because it means, what does that even mean?
If you don't know what it means, how have you deemed it a backhanded compliment? Look, it's a good job. Any person of any gender would get that reaction if they said they were a rocket surgeon or a brain scientist. If you'd have said you were a daytime prostitute, sure, you wouldn't have got that exact reaction, but they'd still be surprised.
The main thing was not having many of my male counterparts treat me the same way.
What, treat you as a man? Why would they do that? Especially given how you're complaining about fucking nothing right now. And what would you talk about? I mean, do you even lift?
You know, there are other male friends with me or my husband, and they get asked the same question and they don't receive the same reaction.
It just makes me feel other.
So, offence is taken, not given. The problem lies in what's going on in that curly head of yours, not in other people. They're just doing the standard meet and greet, and you're like, I resent that.
It makes me feel like I don't belong.
Who gives a fuck? You're not in school. If I can get through 3 years of an arts degree surrounded by the most liberal fucktards you'd ever hope to meet, you can shut the fuck up and get on with your job.
Their training and their biases and then
Oh, fuck off with the biases. They're surprised you work as an engineer. They don't say you should be shooting 3-pointers for the WNBA.
don't prepare them to encounter the black woman engineer.
Bloody hell, you're laying the oppression on thick, aren't you? I don't know how you even get out of bed in the morning thinking like that. You just wake up and go, oh, I'm so oppressed.
There are these tiny microaggressions.
Oh, fucking microaggressions. I thought we were done with that bullshit. And the key word is micro, yeah? It means small, and you're overreacting.
That happen when people know that you're a person of color.
Well, you're not exactly hiding it, are you? And person of colour just means not white, doesn't it? You've created this massive divide, a kind of us versus them thing, but fuck will you ever acknowledge it?
They want to know your origin, they want to know a bunch of things about you that don't really matter when it comes to your work.
It's called getting to know you, and none of this matters when it comes to your actual work, for fuck's sake! You've been complaining for 3 minutes, then show us you know it doesn't matter, and now you're gonna resume complaining. If it weren't for arranged marriages, you would be unshockingly single.
It's very tough to explain to someone what you experience if it's not their lived experience because it demands a sense of imagination. Imagine you are nothing like how you are right now.
What, a grown adult with a functioning sense of perspective? Nah, fuck that. I want to be more like you. Is this meant to be shocking, or are we just making fun of Alaskans right now?
I've recently had a conversation with a gentleman who asked me, why should I care? Why should I want to change it? What's in it for me?
It's this interesting set of norms that are used to sort of enforce who does well and who doesn't do well in the tech industry.
Ah, yes, when you don't achieve something, blame the social norms. It couldn't be that you're a fucking idiot, could it? Or that you complain about shit that is unrelated to the job in hand. No, it's the social norms.
And as a result, a lot of people end up being hurt, especially women, people of color, people who have different sexual orientations.
So, anyone but straight white men then? I know you found an ass-backwards way of saying it, but it's still the same old bullshit.
There should be no one group who gets to say what's in it for me for an industry that is changing the world right now.
Well, that's exactly what this group is saying. So, you know, stones and glass houses.
The investment you make in diversity and inclusion is in fact an investment.
But you'll never tell us how or why, will you?
Everybody talks about diversity and getting people in the door. You know, we measure those numbers. We don't really talk much about the inclusion part.
We don't measure those numbers. We have fucking quotas to fulfill. That means you can get a job because of the color of your skin instead of being the best candidate. Does that seem right to you?
What are you doing to make sure that everybody is included and feels safe and supported and valued in your organization?
Love, you're exchanging your labor for currency. That's it. You don't deserve anything and you're not owed anything. Just do your fucking job.
It's going to end up in your work atmosphere being better. It's going to end up in healthier teams. It's going to end up in your products being better.
That's just not true, is it? If you shoehorn in a load of people who have a chip on their shoulder about their ethnicity and what they have between their legs, none of that's gonna happen.
What I really am hoping for is that we as an industry don't participate in or perpetuate the systemic injustices that we see in society today.
Then stop creating problems. Fuck, you must be shit at your job, woman.
You can't really build an app for everybody around the world if everybody isn't in the room, right?
So you want someone to represent every single person of their race. I can see that going fucking wrong. We could get some new stereotypes out of it though, so I'm keeping an open mind. Who gives a fuck about these stats? Yes, there's disparity between the genders, but that's down to personal choices and not sexism.
Then there's this other side of the tech culture in, let's say, a company like Yelp that is working so hard to make sure that we change the definition of what tech culture means.
I thought Yelp hosted reviews for restaurants and shit. Changing the definition doesn't tend to turn any profit, so, you know, maybe get those priorities straight.
I think of openness and collaboration. I think of
walking into the office with a Kalashnikov and 400 rounds of ammunition.
Building things and making sure that we help the community and help the world.
Just do the work you're given, for fuck's sake. You don't see a fucking sewer worker blithering on about how he's making the world a better place. Just behave and get on with it.
You need lots of different programmers who have different backgrounds and different ideas to come together, and we can make really great products.
Different ideas, yeah, but different backgrounds? How would that affect anything? Are you telling me someone who grew up in Joseph Fritzl's basement is going to turn that trauma into a life-changing app? Shut the fuck up!
Without females, so many of the great work which has been done would not be possible.
So 12% of the workforce are responsible for 100% of the products, are they? I think you might be giving yourself way too much credit there.
Females can really change the world, and not just engineering, but in all other aspects, and no one should ever forget that.
Oh, you can change the world, and you have, just in really trivial ways. Don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of great women like Marie Curie and Natasha Romanoff, but they actually did something more than complain about the way people fucking think.
I love my job. I love making stuff. I just want, you know, the industry to look more like me.
Ah, now we get down to the nitty-gritty then. That's the change you want. It won't affect anything for the better, but damn it, you want it anyway. Even though the fact you're working in that field shows there's no sexism or racism there, barring the shit that actually benefits you.
And I think it will. It just will take time.
We are the so-called smartest people in the world. That's what they keep telling us.
I thought so too until I watched this video. Just goes to show even smart people can be dense as fuck.
This is a problem. We can solve it. It is important. If you need to be convinced of that, please feel free to come find me and I'll tell you all the reasons why.
Oh, you don't want me to do that? I'll make you cry. And solving problems, sure, big part of being an engineer. I just didn't realize creating problems was a part of it too. But live and learn. I guess that's why you're the engineer and I'm constantly debunking people's bullshit. Thanks for watching, guys. Please consider becoming a patron so I can put up with this bollocks for a reason. The link is in the description, and remember, if you study hard and work harder, you too too can find a problem in anything.